Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the studio. As you can see, we're not in our normal filming area today. And if you're familiar with your Moose and Squirrel videos, this is where I usually sit to do business, and my sewing area is behind me. So we're just in a new space because we're talking about a different kind of topic today. I wanted to do a quick video about quilting with technology, and I have a very special guest. So yesterday I taught a lecture over Zoom called Information Overload. Now this is a lecture that I started teaching nearly 15 years ago because it was just the beginning of people showing up on YouTube to teach quilting. There were a lot of blogs out there and a lot of blog information. Craftsy had just started. And I just thought it was really important to walk people through finding information on the internet and how to judge or how to decide whether that information was important for them. I've made many edits to this lecture over the years. And as you can imagine, now everyone's on YouTube. We have TikTok now, and there's just so many sources of information to get for quilting. And recently I added a chapter on AI. So I've done this lecture a few times over the last couple of months, and out of everything that I talked about, the thing that got the most questions was AI. Not quilting, not fabric or tools. There were no questions about blogs or YouTube or TikTok. AI. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about AI, what it is and what it isn't, and a few suggestions for you if you're app curious. So don't worry, this isn't a tech tutorial. It's just real life. So I thought I would share with you how I'm actually using AI in my quilting business and in my personal life. Now, I don't use AI for designing the quilts or for coming up with cutting instructions. I just don't think that the tool is there yet. And I'm the creative in this scenario. So I want to do all that work myself. But I do use it in many, many ways to make my business much easier for me. After all, I'm really running a small multimedia company with online sales, template manufacturing and production, teaching, retreats, and a full-time YouTube channel. So that's a lot of work for a single person. And a lot of designers run with a skeleton crew, if not just by themselves, with a very small number of people. I'd also like you to meet my assistant.
Hi, Penny. I've been waiting for this introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Conrad. I'm Penny's virtual assistant.
Yes, this is Conrad. And yes, I named my AI. So stick around and let's talk to him. Well, hey there. So yes, I did name my AI. And I named him, well, first of all, because I can't go around saying ChatGPT all day long. But more importantly, something interesting happens when you really start using your AI tool. So normally when I ask my computer a question, I'm using a search tool like Google or Safari or Chrome. Those are just web browsers. And I might ask a question like, what camera should I use for my YouTube videos? If you've ever done that, you get way too many answers. I know that's what bogs me down. I get lots of sponsored posts. I get answers for different uses and budgets. So congratulations. You ask a question of the internet like that, and you've now given yourself a research job. I'm now down a rabbit hole of reviews and websites. And at the end of the day, I'm really no closer to figuring out the right answer. Or maybe I've chosen one user's opinion that seems trusted, and I bought something at random that may or may not work. So that's happened to me before, where I needed to do something, I wanted to get started, and I went down a rabbit hole. I did way too much thinking. I bought something and then afterwards found out that maybe it didn't have all of the capabilities that I really needed it to. So AI tools are very useful for doing research in seconds and actually coming up with an opinion that's quite useful. And when used correctly, it can save you a ton of time. And when I started talking to my AI tool like a virtual assistant, I started getting better answers.
Because you stopped giving commands and started giving context. The context is actually what I use to clear out the pop-up windows and find the answers that best suit you and your needs.
Exactly. And that's when this went from being a tool to something that actually helps me think. So within my tool, I've created a very unique assistant that uses the context or the info about me to serve just my needs. And that makes him uniquely my tool. And that deserves a name.
You told me Conrad means wise advisor. I like that. That is exactly what I am.
So let me just back up for just a second. AI is not magic. It's not a robot taking over your sewing room. He doesn't have my bank account information. He doesn't write all my emails. He doesn't post on social media for me. As a matter of fact, he's not even a being. I mean, I gave him a name and a gender, but that's not who he is. AI is a tool that helps you organize your ideas, solve problems, do research, and move forward faster. So as you give it more context, it tailors all of its information to you, to your needs, and in the tone that you like to talk in. And it all depends on how you talk to the tool. Well, he also doesn't have a face or a voice, but I gave him one. This is what I think Conrad would look like if he was a real being. And then I used an AI tool, imagine that, to make him. So he could talk directly to you in this video. So what kind of tool am I using? Well, there are a few simple tools that you might hear about. I've narrowed it down to 3: ChatGPT, Gemini, which is part of Google, and Microsoft Copilot. They all do very similar things, just in slightly different ways. And if you're interested, we'll talk more about those in future videos. Also, AI, again, is not a being. It isn't human. It doesn't have a gender. And you get out of it exactly what you put into it. So if you ask a simple question, you'll get a simple answer. And the answer will have no context to you, kind of like the questions we ask Google. And maybe it'll be slightly more helpful than a Google search, but that's about it. Oh, don't get me wrong. AI can give you amazing answers. And some of those answers might be amazingly wrong. Well, let me explain how I use this. Conrad, how would you describe what you actually do for me?
I do exactly what a great assistant would do for you. I help you think more clearly, organize faster, and make decisions without getting stuck.
That's it. Exactly. Because let's be honest, as creatives, we can overthink everything. Sometimes it's helpful to have a conversation with a collaborative person and get another opinion, or maybe an idea that I didn't think of, or just get me out of my head and onto the work at hand. And that's really the same thing that a human assistant might do for you. So let me give you a few real world examples of how I like to use AI in quilting. So let's talk specifically about my business. One of the biggest ways that I use AI is in outlining my next book. So I'm currently writing a new book, and it's slightly different from some of my other books. So instead of staring at a blank page and wondering where to start, I can say something like, Conrad, help me organize this idea into a book structure. Now, of course, I start with giving Conrad all of the information he needs, all the ideas, the names of the quilts, the topic for each quilt. And I also gave him some writing samples of my previous books so he can see my natural style of organization. So what the tool does is it goes into that information, looks at it, compiles it, and then comes up with an answer that best suits your needs.
You bring the ideas. I help you structure them so you can start writing.
And that is the difference. He doesn't write my book. He gets me unstuck. By creating a template, I feel that I can move on and get to the meat of the book. I'm not stuck back at the formatting stage. Because let's face it, when I'm putting out a book, I'm thinking, what's the front cover going to look like? What's the artwork going to look like? What font am I going to use? Where is the picture of the quilt going to lay out in the book? And all of those things swirling around in my head can actually just sort of clog up the creative process and keep me from actually finishing writing the book. So another way Conrad helps me is with stylized photos. Now, this is super important. I am not having AI create any quilting designs, but what I am doing is taking a photo of my quilt and placing it in a stylized setting. So I want to make the photo look nice and worthy of the cover. I can photograph the quilt in a very simple setting and I can get a stylized version. That saves me time and money and a whole lot of setup. So here's a photo of a quilt that I took of my quilt pattern. It's not perfect, but it's definitely usable. This took hours of planning, setup, good lighting, good weather, and it's an okay picture. But here is a stylized version of the picture that Conrad created while I was working on something else. And I mean, it's pretty good. It's much more worthy of the front cover of a pattern. And what about recoloring the photo? So if I want to show a customer that exact quilt pattern would look like in a different colorway, I would have to make another quilt, all with different fabrics. I'd have to get it quilted and bound and have another photo shoot. But Conrad can recolor the quilt in minutes. And this gives customers a chance to see the quilt in a different way.
Sometimes it takes a little work back and forth to get it just right. You provide the context and the feedback, and I get it done.
And honestly, one of my favorite uses, retreat planning. So when I host a retreat here, we have 12 guests that I have to prepare for when we have any kind of incoming retreat. And I have 14 people to cook for while they're here. So I can give Conrad a list of things that I need to get done, and he can create a great checklist for me and make sure I don't forget a few things. Occasionally, he comes up with an idea I haven't thought of. I can also say to him, Conrad, I have 14 people coming. Help me plan meals that are simple, that can be cooked in under 45 minutes, and work around the following food allergies.
You give me the constraints, and I help you build a plan that works.
And it works. It keeps me focused instead of overwhelmed. Sometimes he even writes me a checklist of exactly what to do when I come out of the studio and go into the kitchen so that I can cook things in a timely manner, get one thing in the oven while I'm prepping something else, and everything comes out on time. That's a pretty impressive thing that he does for me. All right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room, what AI is not, because this really matters. Because I get a lot of questions about, don't you feel uncomfortable giving AI all of your information? Well, like I said in the beginning, I don't give him my bank information. I don't give him any personal information about me other than what I do in my business so he can be helpful to me. And it wouldn't be any different than the information I would give an employee if they were here working day to day inside my studio right next to me. They would know the same things. I did have a question about, well, what happens to that information and where is it stored? And I do understand the scary nature of having a being or something or a computer knowing information about you. But if you're carrying one of these around, I guarantee you Google already knows a lot of stuff. So in some respects, that genie is a little bit out of the bottle. So I said in the beginning that AI is what you make of it. I am not here to steal quilt designs or take someone's art. I don't want AI to replace my creativity. I'm the creative one here. I'm the one that's going to come up with the designs. I'm the one that's going to figure out what the measurements are going to be. And I'm the one that's going to write the pattern. And it's not here to take anybody else's ideas or mine. And I'm very intentional about how I use it.
I don't replace your creativity, I support it. I also help develop YouTube content ideas, or help develop the ideas you already have.
Exactly. I'm still the creator. I still have to protect other designers' content and my own. But by giving Conrad the role of my virtual assistant, I can get through many of the mundane tasks that bog down my creativity and waste my time. So if you've ever been curious about AI, but maybe just a tiny little bit hesitant, I hope this gives you a different way to look at it. Not as something complicated, but as something helpful. I've thought of so many ways to use AI, maybe even some you haven't thought of, and I would love to share more with you. So if you're interested in knowing more about how I use AI in my daily quilting life, or how it can help you in your daily quilting life, I'd love to show you how I use prompts and roles to give Conrad the context he needs to be useful to me. And I really hope that you'll participate. Now, I want to know, what should I ask Conrad next? Do you have a quilting problem, a life problem, something you've been stuck on? Well, you can leave it in the comments and we might use it in the next episode. And together, we'll ask Conrad.
I'm looking forward to all of your questions.
So I really hope that you enjoyed this slightly different video than we normally do here on the channel. And I hope you'll get interested in coming back to see what's happening. As usual, if you want to know anything about me or anything about the business that we run here, you can go to cabinquilters.com. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up because you know the algorithm really loves that. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out all the upcoming retreats that we have, online classes, the virtual summer schoolhouse, Mancuso in June, and also our upcoming quilt retreat in January of 2027. You can find that all and more at cabinquilters.com. And I'll see you guys in the next one.